So we're going to start our panel. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. And as you know, the panel is The Art of Juggling, a discussion on how to navigate life's demands as women. So I'm going to quickly introduce our panelists, three amazing women. So I'm going to start by Balkissa. Balkissa is a system engineer pursuing her master's degree, conducting AI research focused on ethics, equity, and inclusion. And she has launched her own startup, everything at the same time. Next, we have Hanna. Hanna is an award-winning executive and a recognized leader in business operations, cross-functional team leadership, and business development. And then we have Temi. Temi is a Maxwell certified coach and behavioral analyst with more than 15 years of experience in product, project, and change management, specializing in healthcare tech and team transformation across the UK and North America. Perfect. So we're going to start with our first question. And the first question is, in your experience, is it realistic to strive for balance? What strategies have you found most effective while avoiding burnout? Who would like to start?
Thank you very much. You may wonder why I have balls in my hands, and I just want to show you how possible it is to achieve balance in everything, because it's just not impossible. And I think it's about integrating the work and life together, and project and passions and business together, so that you retain your energies. In terms of burnout, I am a survivor, 2 episodes of burnout. And what I've come to realize now is I need to be able to measure and manage my energies in what matters. So if you define burnout as having little or no energy in things that you love or things that are mandatory, then it's important to understand how you are expanding, how I'm expanding my energy into activities. But I just want to check a show of hands. How many people are juggling many things at the same time right now? And how many people have ever had any episode of burnout? Okay, good. And how many people are burning out right now? Well, yeah, close. Right, so for my experience is, yep.
This one? Can you hear me well? Perfect, thank you. So sorry.
Yeah, so for my experience, what I do now is to look at, and I'll give you the formula, it's like 3 R's, I call it. I look at my requirements, what I need to do as a wife, as a mother, as a business person, as a corporate person, and I rate that on a scale of 1 to 5 into the rewards and return. So for example, cooking is a requirement, because I have 2 kids, I need to cook 4. What is the reward of that? What is the return on a scale of 1 to 5? So I do all my lists down, so you can have a column, you can have columns. You have all the list of requirements, you rate reward and return, and then your total. And then you multiply the scores. So what you have on your total is a 0 or a 25. 15 is my baseline. If anything scores 15 and lower, I delete or delegate, okay? If it's 15 and above, I do and focus on. But again, because energy, my energy is finite, right? I can't do everything at the same time. So I begin to look at how I can optimize my time within those 15 and above stuff. I love cooking. It has good reward, it has good return. But do I want to spend 80% of my time cooking? No. So how do I optimize that? The point now is, once you focus on the things that really truly matter and gives good reward and good return, you have more energy to do things that matter. And that has really helped me in preventing the next burnout, which I really don't want to get to at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Temi. And unlike you, I don't enjoy cooking at all. But what I want to say is actually juggling life and having, a perfect balance differs from one person to the other. For example, I am a mom of 2 teenage boys, 17 and 11. I have my kids full time, and my job requires that I travel extensively, which means today I could be sitting here, tomorrow I'll be somewhere in Europe, the next I'll be somewhere in Africa. And whenever I travel, I am very lucky because I have my parents who live 5 minutes away, and I have my younger sister, whom I dragged today, who happens to be an awesome babysitter for my kids. But despite having that, at the beginning, I was always feeling guilty. My job for me is important. It's my career. I have a lot of accomplishments. But at the same time, I was always worried, okay, I'm leaving my kids behind. I feel bad. I'm a bad mom. So what I was doing while I was traveling, and I remember there's like a huge time gap all the time where I'm traveling for work. So I would stay up later to ensure that I call my kids in the morning and wish them good morning before they go to school, make sure that, they have everything set, no one is forgetting anything. But then again, after they come from school again, with this time gap, I would call them and do homework with them via FaceTime. Or, my son knows that I will never switch my phone off, so sometimes he would call me up and then wake me up and tell me, Mom, could you order Uber Eats for me because I don't like what Grandma cooked? But I was always indulging them, and because I was feeling guilty. And as to Temi's point, I was burning out, and so I sat down and I said, okay, now I'm giving 100 here, 100 there all the time, but I'm not feeling satisfied, I'm not feeling happy, I'm always feeling guilty and anxious. So I decided that, for me, a work-life balance means when I'm at work, I'm going to give my 70% at work. I'm going to turn off my cell phone at night so my son doesn't call me because he wants McDonald's. Or, it's okay, I'm not going to do homework with them. I'm going to hire a tutor who is going to do homework with them, and I will focus 100% or 70%, whatever I'm feeling like, at my work. Because my work requires all my attention. I meet clients, I give keynote speeches all around the world, so I need to be focused on my work. But when I'm at home, my colleagues knows, or my boss knows, that after 5 p.m., don't disturb me because I am with my kids, unless there's an emergency, something like, fire is burning at one of our clients and we need to settle it. Or, I don't know, there's a delivery and we're going to be late. But overall, they know that when I'm at home, I'm with my kids. When I go on vacations, I'm with my kids. Do not disturb me. And it's very important. You need to understand that work-life balance differs from everyone. One of my sisters, she has a dog, and her dog is her life. So for her, it's important not to be disturbed. And actually, she works with me. So I know that I cannot call her, like, let's say during lunchtime from 12 to 1, because this is where when she's going to walk Muffy. And I respect that. It's even blocked in her calendar. So learn and understand that the perfect balance is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Learn to set your boundaries. Don't be afraid. Like, tell your boss, tell your colleagues, hey, do not disturb me. It's very important, because if you don't set your boundaries, I find this is when you start to burn out. And don't be afraid to ask help. I am lucky I have my parents, I'm lucky I have my sisters, but even sometimes they're busy, so I ask my best friends, who actually also happen to live 5 minutes away. Hello, Cynthia, because I know my sister is filming. So don't be afraid to ask help. As we say back home in Sudan, it takes a village to raise a family. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So I'm gonna try to speak in English. Actually, I'm out of my comfort zone because my first language is French. So I may switch from there to there. So I also believe that we cannot have the perfect work-life balance. Like, we are human. Life, it gets unpredictable. It gets messy sometimes. But I think also that we can strive for a version of a perfect life balance that works for us, depending on the season of our life. Because sometimes, even me, like sometimes my work takes more, sometimes it's my friends, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's health. It can really depend. And as Hanna just said, you need to think about it, like what's more important at this period of time. And my experience is a bit different than theirs because I'm not married and I don't have any kids. So I remember thinking, like, a few years ago, I said, okay, I'm gonna take advantage of this period of my life and do as much as I can. So I was working full-time. I went back to school full-time to do my master's. After I finished my classes, I'm writing my thesis on artificial intelligence biases, and At the same time, I started working on a startup with 2 of my friends. I'm not gonna like, it's too much. It was too much for me. It was too much. And at first, I was running on passion, so I kept on going, on going. And like a day for me will look like I will work all day, and then I will try to work on my business. I will try to work on my thesis. I will try to do other things of life, like exercise, cook. I remember I told my friend, she's here also, I told her, I think like 24 hours, it's not enough for me. I need 48 hours at least a day. It's because I was feeling so guilty, and I was trying to do everything I said I will accomplish. And that also led me to a burnout. So I knew I had to change something. I did some changes. So now, instead of trying to do everything, for example, what I do, I try to switch my focus, like depending on the day, on the week. Every day I ask myself, what needs the most of me today? Is it work? Is it my family? Is it my business? What is it? It is. And one simple act that helped me so much, I bought a simple journal on Amazon. It's $20. I bought it, and each morning I write. Like, I've not been that consistent, I'm not gonna lie, recently. But each day I write, like, what's the top 3 things I need to do today? Each week, what's the top 3 things I need to do this week? And each month, what's the top 3 things I need to do? And I think that's helping me so much navigate like all the things I'm doing at the same time. And one last thing I decided to try. I didn't know it had a name, but recently I learned it's coming from a book also, the 1% method. So instead of seeing like the end goal, I just see like what's the next step. Now sometimes like I write just one line on my thesis, and that's bringing me like to the 100% I need to do. I'm just trying to do my best and understanding like we cannot be perfect, but we need to be consistent. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So there's some 3 key points that they were talking about. The first, I think it's like how you manage your time. I think this is like a very important skill, and I know it's not an easy one to build. So actually, if you could ask for help, how can I manage my time better, is something that, in my opinion, has like changed my life. Also, like, I use a calendar, and whatever is not on my calendar, I'm not gonna do it. So this is how I allocate like time for every task that I need to do, and it has helped me so much. I don't know how the product or project managers do, because it's like very hard to keep up with everything. There is the second point that I wanted to talk about, and it's about the book that Balkissa mentioned, and it's you get 1% better every day, and this book is Atomic Habits, and it's a life-changing book. I really highly recommend it, and it's how, instead of getting done everything in one day, just be consistent, be disciplined, be persistent, and improve 1%, 1% at a time, and then you're gonna see how you actually improve over time. And the third thing I wanted to mention, it's like, as Balkissa, I'm single, I'm not a mom, but honestly, I just want to take this moment to say how, like, I really admire the job that a mom does, because honestly, like, you have to be like multitasking all the time, and I ask myself, like, am I ready for this? And I'm like, no.
You'll never be ready until it happens.
Oh my god. But like so many things, like the cooking part, the school, the homeworks. When you were talking about it, I'm like, I feel like I complain about different things. So yeah, just for the mom. Yeah, because it's a great job that you do. So moving on into the second question is, if you could speak to your younger self, what advice would you have wanted to know before choosing a tech career? And also, do you think the tech space presents new opportunities for women?
Well, since I have the mic, I will start. Actually, I didn't choose tech. Tech chose me. So I have a background in sales. I've worked for many industries that were always male-dominated. So coming into the tech industry was not scary for me. Like, I've dealt with men in the construction field. I've dealt with men in like aviation. So it wasn't a surprise for me. And if I could give an advice to my younger self, just go for it. I mean, when this position came to me, I wasn't expecting it. I was a manager director for a recruitment firm, and my client, who is now happens to be my employee, Sigma Software Group, is a global software development IT consultancy firm. And one of the founders came to Montreal, and because they were my clients, so I took them out for lunch. And they offered me, they said, listen, we want someone to head our operations in Canada. Can you do it? And I was like, that's such a challenge, because at that point, I didn't know that Java didn't mean Java beans, but like, a tech stack. And I spoke to my mentor, and she told me, Hanna, fake it till you make it. I know you. I've been mentoring you for a while. You've always liked tech. Go, jump on this opportunity. And so that's what I went with, growing up, I was the kind of child that if you tell me, no, you can't do it, I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to do it, and I'll be better than you. So I've always grew up with this mindset, and I've been very lucky that I've had a father who had 5 girls, and then 1 boy, and then 1 girl. So for the first couple of years of our life, and I come from a culture where, like, boys are always encouraged to do everything, but girls, had, stay at home. But my dad wasn't like that. He always raised us to, to do everything that a man can do and better. And in fact, my father, I recall as a child, my father was a businessman. I used to travel with him and sit in his, meetings, because in my mind, like, what, when I'm going to grow up, I'm going to take over the family business. I'm going to run all my dad's business, but this didn't happen. We have to come to Canada. But I mean, I always grew up with this mindset. I'm going to do it. Nothing is going to stop me. And every failure is just a new learning opportunity. So, and yes, there is a lot of space for men in the tech industry, but you can't wait to take your place. You have to go and fight for your place. You have to speak your mind. You have to assert yourself, which is something very important, especially for women who want to grow their career in tech. So that's the advice I would give anyone, and I give to myself.
If I could give one advice, I would tell myself, try again, and try harder. The worst thing that can happen is a no. And sometimes that no, it turns to a yes. A few years ago, I just graduated from university. I finished my bachelor in computer engineering. And I was looking for a job. I saw one job posting. It was asking for 3 to 5 years of experience. I was just out of university. I applied. And they rejected me at first. Like, they told me, no, you don't match, etc. And a few days later, they asked me for an interview. I remember sitting in the interview and telling the hiring manager, I know I'm not the most qualified person because I don't have like that many years of experience, but I work so hard, and I'm so motivated, and I'm so passionate, and I think I will be the perfect person for this job. This is actually my job right now. I'm doing the job currently. So try. Don't be afraid. Like, you can have no's, but the no's also, they can open up so much opportunities. And for also, I think like tech, it presents like many opportunities for women in tech, but I'm gonna say one thing. I see a lot of things on TikTok, on social media. They are talking about the advantages. If you do it just for the money, you are not gonna strive there. Like, you are not gonna be happy. But tech is so vast, like there is so many opportunities, like project manager, programming. Find what you really love and go there, not just for the money. That's what I'm gonna say.
Before passing the mic to Temi, and tech doesn't just have to be programming or project management. You could have I run the whole operations of a company in Canada, and I go because of that job, because I speak for women in tech and everything. I travel the world to be able to speak and encourage women, but I'm not an engineer. So the tech industry is not just the programming or the project management. It could also be running the business, could be the marketing. So I just wanted to add that. It's very important.
Perfect, great, thank you. If I was going to give myself an advice, when I started like 25 years ago, I would have found a mentor to guide me as I make the decision into going to tech and also to grow in my career. Why I say that is because success leaves cues and also failure does as well. So a mentor would help you to learn the verbiage, learn the ropes, what works in this industry, how to present yourself, what you could be looking at. I mean, a mentor would always catalyze your growth. So if at all, if I want to go back, I would have done that. I didn't do that, but now I have a mentor, and my growth since when I had a mentor has been phenomenal compared to when I didn't have a mentor. So anybody here, find a mentor. And the next one is about what I think about the tech space. So we talked about the DEI, the panel said a lot about it. I think that everybody here has a responsibility to mentor other people, mentor kids, mentor girls. Because we're thinking about the next generation, right? And we're saying that, yeah, we don't have a lot of women in the pipeline, but there will be if we take the what you call that thing? If we take the leadership role in mentoring other people. So find someone to mentor, find the youth people to mentor, go into universities, go into colleges. And if you're in your organizations, if we have opportunity to recruit, I think you should look out for ladies and girls. They might not necessarily have the skill set, the confidence, because we all don't. But if you borrow them your belief, and put your all in them, invest in them, I think we'll be talking about a better generation, a better workforce in the next 10 years.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned something about being passionate, and I think it's something like super important, because when you are passionate about something, you really put your heart into it, and you really do your best to make sure that things work. And this passion is also going to help you to overcome when the challenges arise. So I think it's super important. And also, I think like we need to be aware that, for example, me, I'm a technical person, and I need to be aware of the responsibility that I have when I'm building something. And I really think, like, in the future, how is this gonna affect someone? Like, is this like being like ethical? And sometimes, I hope you're not recording. I have asked questions at work, like, is this ethical? Like, are we okay with this? And even though some people don't like it, I still speak up. So, always they mentioned about this in the panel earlier, but make sure you always like speak up and don't be afraid. I know it's not easy, but try your best. Yeah. So this is the last question, and it says, how do you navigate imposter syndrome as a woman in tech? Balkissa, would you like to start?
Yeah. So this question is really like close to my heart, because for a very long time, I felt imposter syndrome without knowing what it is and how to navigate it. When you start a career very young, I was at my early 20s when I started my first job, and I was in a room with people like I'm still 25 now, and I'm still in a room with people who have like more years of experience than my age. So before I'll not speak up, because I'll think myself, do I have something to add? Do I have a voice? Like, do I need to share something, or should I just close my mouth and listen? Because maybe they know more. Maybe I'm not experienced enough. Maybe I don't know enough. And I think what I really like is speaking with other women now, going into spaces like this and seeing like you are not alone. It never goes away. Even now, like I thought with experience, with recognition, it will go away, but I still have that voice in the back of my head. Like sometimes I'm gonna ask, why me? Last year, my company, they came to me and they told me, oh, you are going to represent the company in front of the government, and it was with the vice presidents and the program managers. The first question I asked is, why me? Like, why me? And a few months ago, I was named like one of the best employees of my company. I asked, why me again? And I always forget like all the hard work I did to be here. And I always try to be like so humble, because that's what I was taught, and I forget it. But now I'm speaking. I'm trying to to have a voice even now, today, I'm out of my comfort zone. When I saw this posting asking for speakers, the first time I saw it, I told myself, I think I'm not experienced enough because there are so many women in tech in Montreal that can say so much more than me. So I decided not to apply. Few weeks later, I saw again the posting, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Hell yeah, I'm gonna try. And here I am today. So I'll just say, like, especially to like younger women, if you like try, you don't need to shrink to fit into the room. Like, speak up and tell your truth.
I'm glad you applied. Yeah, it has been fun working with you and getting to know you. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I have a love-hate relationship with the imposter syndrome. And it's not just women, actually, who feel that or go through that. It's everyone. And Balkissa here, who's flaunting that she's very young. I'm very jealous, by the way, but you can feel imposter syndrome at any stage of your career, at any age. I'll give you an example. Last year, I was named one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women in executive leadership position. But just like Balkissa said, why me? So I recall going with my sister to my award ceremony. And I remember, actually it was the night before the award ceremony, we had like a cocktail to meet with the other women. And I started meeting the women in my category. Like Balkissa mentioned, there were women who are older than me, who are much more experienced than me. So I was wondering, why am I being recognized among these executive leaders? Like, what the heck? Like, something is wrong. And I remember, I'm someone who's very candid. My heart is in my sleeve. I speak much faster than I process the information, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. But anyhow, so I saw Sherry, who is like the CEO of this organization that recognized me, and I went to her and I was like, Sherry, how come it's me? Like, I don't get it. I don't fit here. That's exactly what I told her. I don't belong here. And she told me, Hanna, if we have chosen you as a most powerful woman, it's because you have power. And we don't just recognize you because, you have a position like you have an executive level position. We recognize everything that you do for the community and all your efforts that you're doing for other women and your mentorship. So you belong here. Like, don't compare yourself to others, like saying that you don't belong. You belong. So this was a wake-up call for me. And one of the question was, how do you overcome imposter syndrome? And there are so many ways that you could overcome imposter syndrome. I remember, as I said, I do a lot of public speaking, and once I was invited to speak at GITEX Morocco, which is like one of the biggest tech conferences in Africa. And as I was preparing for my, for my speech and everything, I remember I started like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I'm hyperventilating. So what I did, I called my mom, and I was like, Mama, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I can't speak. She told me, Hanna, you're always speaking. You'll be fine. Like, just believe in yourself. I know, like, you can do it. And I was like, oh, okay, that helps. So just speaking to someone who will lift you up is a way to combat imposter syndrome. And another thing that my mentor told me to do, to keep a success journal. And this doesn't have to be like, oh, I signed a $1 million deal. It could be, you know what? I woke up early and I went to yoga class. Or, oh, you know what? I cooked and my kids didn't tell me, oh, it doesn't taste that good at grandma's. It could be the very small mundane things, but that when you're feeling down, you take up your success journal and it reminds me, you know what? I do good, I am good, I belong here. So these are two ways that I use sometimes when I'm feeling like an imposter and that I'm going to be found out. And I hope that, you guys have your own ways of combating imposter syndrome.
That's a good. Thank you. I'm just going to give like 3 strategies to that. But I want to ask a question. How many people journal here? Do you journal? Well, if you don't, you should. There's a lot of benefit in that. I also coach, and I do executive coaching. And yes, imposter syndrome is, so everybody suffers from it. So the executives, like VPs, come to my coaching and say, I don't know if I can do it. I'm thinking, what do you mean? What do you mean you can't do it as an executive? So don't feel left out if you feel there's, if you start having that feeling that I'm not good enough. 3 strategies I always give people is know your strength zone, know what you're very good at. Because if you function in where you're good at, you're just so comfortable. You're very confident, okay? And sometimes it's hard to say that to somebody just starting up from the university. How do I know my strength zone? But there are ways of doing it. And this is why I'll tell you to go to a coach who can help you, elicit from you what your strength zone is. That's number 1. Number 2 is your subject zone. So know your onions. I mean, I work in a place where it's all male-dominated. I'm the only female, and I'm the only brown person. So it's a lot to feel like, oh, do I know myself? But I don't doubt myself because I've invested so much in my subject. Like if I come to the table, I bring value, and I know my value, okay? So your strength zone, your subject zone, and also social. So social is about community. Okay, get together with like-minded people who are saying the same thing, talking the same thing. So if you're going off key, they could probably bring you back. But if you're on key, they could validate that, and that gives you enough confidence to go back to your organization and just to deliver. You got to, as a female person, you got to deliver. Like we need results, right? So just remember that strength zone, subject zone, and your socials.
Great, thank you so much. So we have time for one question. So who would like to ask something? Great.
Okay, so hi, I do have a question in regards of like how to beat, I guess, shyness or speaking up in a group setting, whether it's like at school during group discussion or presenting as well, because I see all like very confident women speaking up today. And yes, like any question to just like be able to put yourself out there, be more confident when speaking, and yes.
I am not so if you met me like 25 years ago, you would not know that this is me, okay? I'm very reserved, very introverted, very shy. But what I did was to work on myself. Knowing my strength zone has really, really helped me to knowing that, okay, I am very good in organizing things, project managing, product managing. I function. If you wake me up from sleep, I could do that, okay? So because I know that, I position myself in those areas. So when you ask me questions, I can talk all day. If you ask me questions on politics, now you know I don't know anything about politics. And then I go into my cocoon. So you really got to know what you're very good at. You really got to know the environment that will bring out the best in you, okay? Because this is very important, but it's a self-work. It's a self-journey. I'd always say get a coach who would help you to bring that out in you and you can outshine. So an introverted person in the right environment becomes extroverted.
Thank you for your question. It's a very valid question. And just like Temi, I'm actually a very introverted person. I hate speaking in public. I was the child that, would go and cry to their parents and pretend that they're sick so they would miss next day in school if we have a presentation. No, it's a true story. However, I actually, while I was doing my MBA, I had an amazing teacher who showed, and her teaching method was so different because she would not just give you books and, to read. She would actually get articles. She would, like share with you, I don't know, YouTube posting and whatever. And she actually shared with me a TED Talk by Amy Cuddy. And I learned to power pose. And honestly, it has changed my mind. It has changed my life because no one knows here that I'm an introvert or I'm nervous to do public speaking. I'm the one who knows that. But if I program myself before going in a meeting or doing a speech, I know it. They don't know that I'm scared. I'm going to leverage my strengths. Like Temi said, I know my subject. Like I would never go there and speak about stuff I don't know about because I'll be a fool and I'll make you guys fools because, I'll waste your time. So know your subject, but also do these power poses. It truly helps. I know it looks silly to stand in front of a mirror and doing power poses, but it does something to you. And my third advice would be just do it, honestly, because what is the worst that you can do? And put yourself in uncomfortable situations. I don't enjoy networking events, but I go to so many because you know what? It helps me build confidence. I speak to strangers. And Funny story, 2 weeks ago, my best friend called me because she wants to start doing, networking. And she told me, come with me. I'm like, Cynthia, I'm actually laying on bed. It's 5 p.m. I'm tired. Like, no, please come. So I went with her, and she would approach people, oh, I'm sorry for disturbing. I'm like, Cynthia, don't ever say sorry for disturbing. You're giving them chance to tell you, yes, you're disturbing, and turn your back. Rather say, can I join your conversation? It's all these small things and switches that you make that are going, it's okay to be shy. I'm a shy person. If we go out, I'm not going to go speak to everyone. It doesn't matter. But, just try one step at a time. And one day you'll be like an introvert, acting like an extrovert, and it's fine. So, yeah, go out there.
I'm gonna say fake it till you make it. That's true. Because even before coming here, I was just maybe like that little voice, it's still here. I'm overthinking. Am I gonna fall in walking into the stage? Where should I put my hands? I don't know. But I'm just turning off that little voice inside my head and just telling myself, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do the best I can and it's gonna be great. And telling myself that, I guess it just helps.
And I'm just gonna add up, just like 30 seconds. A lot of, it's something that I do and it works a lot, is like mirror exercises. So whenever I have like a big challenge for a hard day at work, I look at myself and I'm like, you are capable of doing this, like you got it. And also I do a lot of affirmations in the morning. So first thing I do in the morning is, play the Spotify list and have a lot of positive messages every day. Because this is like when you wake up, the first thing you listen to is like your brain absorbs everything, and that's how most likely your day is gonna look like. So if you start your day telling like beautiful things to yourself, the rest is gonna be easy. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. And